I could check 1 2 1 2. This is your host, not son, baby, and this is another episode of Swingers After Dark. And I'm with, the BDSM practitioner, Sir Daniel. And I just want to know. Wait, first of all, what does BDSM mean?
BDSM means bondage, dominance. Wait, BDSM, submissive, or masochist. So it depends on what you want it to be, but it's all type of world of the submissive, being a dom or being. Everybody compares it to 50 Shades of Grey, but it's not.
And speaking of 50 Shades of Grey, do you think that BDSM and the lifestyle have become popular because of that movie and book?
It started off because of that. They made it into a commercial action, but it is basically illegal. But just like in the swingers, a lot of the swingers these days want to bring it into a party. That's why my company, Tender Stroke Toys, do fetish parties for swingers, kinksters, and everything else.
So when did you notice the change in the lifestyle? Because when I came, BDSM wasn't in a lifestyle. It wasn't at parties. I didn't see dudes and chicks set up their crosses or their X. What is the official term for that?
Well, just like that, it's basically kink and fetish. BDSM is a lifestyle. What they give here is provide fetish and fantasy scenes. So it's not BDSM that they're setting up. It's setting up fetishes or setting up fantasies. So doing the basics. But a lot of the swingers these days, there's a lot of people redefining themselves in this lifestyle to do kink and fetish, just like reinventing yourself. So a lot of people are very interested in it, but a lot of people don't know how to do it correctly.
Because it was as soon as that book had come out and that movie became popular, I'm like, damn, everybody want to get into BDSM,
So it really started probably about 3-4 years ago. I was doing parties, doing BDSM rooms, but now after, like I said, redefining what it needs to get done. So for 4 years lately, now everybody is into BDSM, but no one knows the rules or how to do it correctly.
So I would say 2015, 2016, that's when you started seeing it more, BDSM more at swing parties, lifestyle parties.
Right. So basically, I don't see it as BDSM. They call it BDSM. But like I said, BDSM is a lifestyle. If I'm trying to do fetish, I'm trying to do fantasies. Things when people come into my room, I want to know what you like, what you don't like. Not I'm going to beat your ass every 2 seconds.
I got to give y'all props because not for nothing, y'all BDSM when you do your knifing and your knifing and the candle wax, y'all are great fluffers because there's been points where women, they didn't even come to parties with the intentions to play, but as soon as they get candle wax and flogged, now they want to fuck.
Well, to me, it's more of fluffing for the people. I do a show. I do scenes and everything else. I'm not trying to take you home and everything else. I'm trying to warm you up for the party. A lot of people, you've been in my room. There's probably 30, 40 people sitting here just watching, just to see with the music and everything else. I provide a service to the event. I bring another kink to the event other than just fucking.
So are the women that what do you call it when you do your BDSM? Well, the women that you do your exhibition on, mm-hmm. Are they your slave subs or are they just interested in doing it?
Well, I know I have a slave. She's at home right now, but I do have a slave, and she loves it. This is her life. She does it 24/7. When I come to events, I don't look for subs and slaves. I look for average people that want to try different things, and that's what I provide here. You probably won't go home and do the things that I do, but at this event, you can satisfy your fantasy here and safely, because I've been doing it for about 15 years. I've been doing it in the swinger community for about 5. So what I provide here is the bare minimum of what I do basically at home.
So what is the difference between a slave and a sub, like a submissive?
It's certain standards. With a sub, is someone being submissive to a dom, or a dom or daddy dom is
A dominant.
a dominant person. So what it is this: a submissive will give you her submission, but a slave will give you total control. It's called TPE, total power exchange. She trusts you 100% to a point that you can tell her to do anything and everything, and she gives you her submission to do it 100%. So a sub is not giving you TPE, total power exchange. A slave gives you total power exchange, all the way down for what she's wearing or anything else. But remember, there is no BDSM Bible. Whatever you want it to be, you could be sexual, it could be physical, it could be anything else. But the trust factor of being a slave and a sub, that's not the same, but the slave gives you 100% control.
So the BDSM lifestyle bleeds, no pun intended, outside of the parties.
Yes, mine do. I am a 24-hour poly dominant. She chosen me to trust me to do what I want to do with her in this lifestyle. I provide her fantasy. I provide her instructions on this lifestyle, and we take it from there. We do conventions, we do parties and everything else. But at home, I'm still sir. I'm still master. And she's a very controlling woman outside. She works, she's a director and everything else, but she gives me her submission. So it's not a weak woman that I have. She's a very dominant woman when it comes to family, friends, and job.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of vanilla people, vanilla meaning people who are not in a lifestyle, they say, well, how can a woman submit 100%? But I'm glad that you pointed out that she's not a weak woman, because she's independent in her own right, but she recognizes you as a dominant male. So explain to the people how, just because she's your sub, that doesn't make her a weak woman.
You need to get with a submissive to talk to them about it. Okay. Because what happens is this. With me, she makes my foundation in my house. It's a house thing, and it's a whole different levels when it comes to the BDSM. For example, I have a leather house in the BDSM. That's different from being a regular kinkster, because we have rules, we have foundations, we have everything in the community. And being a person in the POC community, it's even harder, because if you think about it, the BDSM is a small group of family. A lot of people can't do poly, swinging, and everything else, and then it get littler each classification that you put yourself in. Like, I'm black. Let's just say like 10% is black. And then I'm heterosexual, so that's another 5% down. Then I'm the 1% in the whole dynamic, because I'm poly also. So being around this lifestyle teach a lot for who I am, even as a heterosexual black man in a very dominant community of non-POC.
And explain to the public, what does POC mean?
People of color. People of color.
I mean, duh. But
Right.
So why do you think that, especially black Americans or black people in general in the Africa diaspora rather, why do you think that, the word slave, it may turn people off, or submissive may turn off black women?
I will give you a couple of links that you could put on your podcast to show you, because there was actually a young lady, a young woman, a black POC couple last year that became the international master and slave 2018, and that was the House of Blue. They are a black heterosexual couple, and one of her speeches was, being a black woman with the slavery, using the word slave, of course, because of what we went through in slavery and everything else. But everything that we do is free will. I don't brainwash her. I don't do anything of that. I don't beat her now unless she wants to be beat. Everything that I do to her is what her kink and what her fetish wants to do. So it's nothing other than pleasing her. And she accepts that. So other than that, that's just like a therapist having all these people and then she needs therapy. Or a police officer being around violent things and suddenly wants to kneel or anything else. Because there's a lot of people in this. Lawyers, police officers, everybody in this for a release. So that's what it is too.
So it's not like on some R. Kelly shit where like the shorty's under hypnosis and she doesn't know whether she's coming and going. You know?
No, and everyone uses him for an excuse. No, he just a pimp, a pedophile that knows how to talk. He's a good talker. And you have to be mind blown by it.
Because I wanted to the reason why I brought him up because people mistakenly connect him with BDSM. I wanted you to explain that's not really it.
No, it's not it. What it is this. He's a pedophile that likes younger women so he could take advantage of them. When they become 18, that's when he already have them in their grasp. But it's the gift of gab. Even in the vanilla world, even in the swingers world, you have to have the gift of gab to get where you need to be. And he's good at it. Now, because of his celebrity and everything else, everything's coming up. He's saying that he's a dom and everything else. He's not. Because the code of ethics and everything else, he doesn't go by that in the BDSM world.
Okay, so, the last thing I want to point out is, how can guys who want to get into BDSM, quote unquote, find a slave or a sub? How would they go about doing it?
It takes a while. Like I said, I've been doing this for 15 years and I'm still learning. You can't just pop up with, buying equipment and everything else. My mentor tells me you should always find a mentor that being an asshole doesn't make you a dom. It just makes you an asshole. Being disrespectful doesn't make you a dom. Everybody thinks because they're putting up Facebook makes it too easy to portray who you are. If you're not out here in this BDSM community, going to local munches, finding someone that actually will help you through it, it's going to self-destruct. And I've learned that from the first, 5 to 7 years of me doing it. You can't do it on your own. And you can't do it without any help. And that's what a lot of people don't think.
And before we go, explain what's a munch. MUNCH.
It's just a meeting place. You can go on Facebook and find a BDSM group, but there's one in basically every state.
I know Philly Munch.
Yeah, the Philly Black Munch. They're very good with introducing and teaching and a lot of training. You have to actually go through training to do what we do.
All right, that's what's up. And this has been another episode of Swingers After Dark, and this is your host, not Son, baby. Want to give a quick shout out to Sir Daniel, the BDSM practitioner and the swinger lifestyle in the DMV. The DMV, for you soul motherfuckers, it doesn't mean the vehicle place. It's the DC, Washington, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And he's also known east of the Mississippi so far and expanding west of the Mississippi. And you can check him out, Sir Daniel.
It's on Facebook is Daniel Harrison. On www.tenderstroketoys.com. Or on Facebook, in the like page is Tenderstroke Toys or Tenderstroke Toys Entertainment, because we do also do fetish parties and everything else.
Okay, that's www.tenderstrokes.com. Yep. Okay.
Tenderstroketoys.com.
Tenderstroketoys.com. And you can check out my website at www.notsunblaze.com. That's www.nahsunblaze.com. And check out my ebook, You, me, us, them. The Swinger Manifesto is good because I wrote it. Ow. And, shoot me an email at swingpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, that's swingpodcast@gmail.com with any questions and or concerns that you may have. And you have any last words, Sir Daniel?
Nah, I appreciate your opportunity, brother. Keep doing the good work.
I know diggity, no doubt. And on that note, until next time, peace.